Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I know it has been a couple of months since you've last seen me. 2026, at least the beginning of the year, was, como se dice, humbling. As the title tells you, I made a personal curriculum for my hobbies. And this has been a trend I've been seeing for the last year. And I think this is a trend that should really stick around because we're living in a time where I think it's important that we reprime our brains for learning or to enjoy learning something new. And why not start with the things that you already like? I found in school I did best at the subjects that I liked or the subjects that I cared the most about. And that was because oftentimes I was taught by someone who was equally as passionate about the subject. I think everyone has a different learning style, and where a personal curriculum can come in handy is it's fully at your own discretion. Like, you are choosing everything. You dictate everything. I know I struggle with accountability. Obviously, you haven't seen me in 2 months, so. And I'm hoping that maybe structuring my passions in the form of a course curriculum, I'll yield better results, maybe. Listen, this is all trial and error, okay? Like, I too am learning as we go. It's making me more intentional, and I feel like that's something that I've struggled with for so long because I love the novelty of things like most of us do. And then whenever it calls for a little bit more effort from me, I'm like, I have a full-time job. I'm financially independent. I have to prioritize the things that sustain those. And then sometimes I just don't have enough energy for the things that I like, which makes me so upset. And I also want to become more advanced in those areas or in those hobbies. And I think a curriculum is a really good way to also track my process, in addition to holding myself accountable. So on that note, these are the following courses that I'll be including in my personal curriculum: audio video production, media criticism and analysis, home economics, and physical education. We're doing 4 to keep it simple, keep it light. I would also like to mention that for each course, I've included course materials, course goals, and instruction expectations. To really keep the theme consistent. I really want to dedicate myself to this. And I don't know, I'm excited. Even just talking about it, I'm excited. Okay, let's get into it. So, funny enough, audio video production is a course that I actually took in high school. This is literally one of the main electives that I took consistently for each year. Like, I really enjoyed the process of filming and editing. And then also during that time, it was very evident that the successful YouTubers were making a lot of money and it was a viable source of income. I mean, I was intrigued by that, but I was also very obsessed with just the way they made their videos. And I consumed, I mean, probably thousands of hours worth of content. I mean, we're going on years, okay? Within the last year, I made more of my own videos and I've been really proud of how they've turned out. I want to take it up a notch. You know, I was monetized earlier this year. But a goal that I had even before then was to be a better editor. And I also want to get better at motion graphics because, again, tying it back to the YouTubers I used to watch back in the day, I really admired the way they'd incorporate that into their work, even if they weren't the ones doing it themselves. Me personally, I really enjoyed learning more about graphic design and just all the things that go into creating a graphic or creating a motion graphic specifically. Over time, I started following YouTubers who were actually artists, and the way that they would incorporate their art into their videos really inspired me, and I really want to keep doing that for myself. And I think I've done a pretty decent job. And of course, I want to get into sound design. I really want to get better at it, and I think I've slowly improved within the last few months because I do use Epidemic Sound for the music and the sound effects that you hear in my videos, at least the ones that I created within the last year. I've learned about downloading sound stems, breaking things apart, layering things. I mean, you're building this sound brick by brick, essentially. Again, like my degree is media art, so I literally did study film. So I knew what it was on a very fundamental level. For the type of content that I want to make moving forward, I really want to be intentional about the way you consume my content visually and sonically. I don't know, it gives me an opportunity to have like a signature style when I factor in everything. So to tie it all together, I want to focus on motion graphics and graphic design, sound design, and to improve my storytelling. So when it comes to instruction regarding this course, I'm going to be primarily watching just YouTube videos or consuming TV shows and movies that are produced in a way that I find inspiring. I feel like as of now, I know exactly which content creators or specifically which YouTubers I like to watch. Another form of study that you can do, or another form of instruction that I'll be doing for this course, is watching tutorials. When it comes to course materials, I will be using Davinci Resolve as my video editor. I'll be using the Affinity suite as my graphic design space. and photo editing space. And of course, I do want to mention it's good to have somewhere to brainstorm your ideas. So maybe a journal, or for me, I like to outline my videos on Google Docs so I can type everything up and like link things if I have to, things like that. So our course goals are to create a filming and editing workflow that allows us to post quality content on a regular basis. By the end of the year, let's hit 10,000 subscribers. Is that ambitious? Probably. It is, but I think it's doable. I think it's well within my reach if I apply myself, and I think I can do it. I do think that. Media criticism and analysis. This course was inspired by my disdain for mindlessly consuming and mindlessly scrolling. I really just want to curb that temptation. I want to be more intentional about what I'm reading, what I'm watching, what I'm listening to. As we know, the internet, it can be a cesspool or it can be a really effective learning tool. I'm going to make up a word here, maybe. The media sphere. Media sphere? I feel like there's just so many forms of media just readily available and so accessible in the time that we're living in right now. And it's so easy to fall into a rabbit hole about anything. And it's also really easy to not have to think too deeply about what it is that you're consuming. And I really don't like that because I hate how numbing it is to my brain. You know, the brain is a muscle, guys, at the end of the day. If you're not using it, it will atrophy. And lately, I've been getting back into reading. When I was a kid, I was a big reader. I loved going to the library, like in my school. So much so that in both middle school and high school, the librarians knew my ass. Oh, they knew me. Also, they used to even give me a piece of paper and I could write down the books that I wanted them to order. And they would. And then, of course, books aren't the only form of media that I'm consuming, right? So the forms of media that I want to cross-analyze are going to be print media, broadcast media, and digital media. What motivated this particular course was me wanting to get back into literature. But of course, literature, like other forms of art, imitate real life. I need to also know what's going on in the world to understand what people are writing about and why they find it so relevant to write about it. If you really want to understand the perspective of certain people from a certain time period, I think it's wise to find media from that time period. Find an old newspaper, read old books. What were the authors of that time writing about? And why was it so important that they dedicated maybe hours, if weeks, months, years of their life to creating a singular piece of literature? Whether it's a fictional telling of something, whether it's a non-fictional explanation about something, it was important to the author to document it and to share it. I feel this way about screenwriters. I feel this way about artists like painters. These art forms take time. In order for them to be good at what they do, they have to be present. They have to be observant. They have to take in everything all the time. They have to know what's important to them. So then I have to ask myself as the consumer, what's important to me? Because consuming is easy. It's so easy to do you can do it mindlessly, as we're learning now. And it's so easy to just regurgitate what we're seeing and not really thinking about it. The creator was intentional about creating the thing. I think it's only right that we're intentional about consuming it. Very recently, I read All Her Fault by Andrea Mara, which is also a show, I believe on Peacock. And I had a friend who was watching it. So I was like, okay, you're watching the show, I'll read the book and then we can talk about it. And my goodness, like even just hearing about the differences, I'm like, oh, in the book they did this, but I guess in the show they did this. Like, I mean, we were really just having basically a little dissertation about it. Like we're having a little, not dissertation, is that the word? We were really discussing the work. And you can even see the artistic liberties that were taken between the two forms. It's like in the book, it made more sense to maybe portray someone like this, but in the show, it made more sense to portray them like this. Even if it's the same thing, the way you consume media changes. And I realized that. And it's just so, hey, I don't know. I'm just having, I'm getting so excited thinking about it. And also, we're going to be journaling about it. I have this gorgeous journal from the Quirky Cup Collective. It is a reading journal, and I've been loving it. I've been loving expanding on my thoughts on books in this journal. It is truly, first of all, on top of being visually stunning, it is so detailed, and I just love how it can always be a point of reference and I can always come back to it and read it again. It is a bibliophile's dream. So for course materials, I listed a journal, and as I mentioned earlier, I'll be using the one from the Quirky Cup Collective. And I put this here. This is not mandatory for me, but a Substack account, because I've been loving Substack. Growing up, I was a Tumblr girl through and through. So Substack to me, Tumblr and Twitter girl, right? Substack to me is like a love child of the two. The main thing you need is just somewhere to document your thoughts and to expand on your thinking, and ideally somewhere where you can share them with others and to engage with them, get other opinions, expand your perspective. For course goals, we want to improve media literacy, and we want to consume content that offers perspectives different from our own. Of course, because this helps us build empathy, right? You are not the only person that exists in the world. Just like everybody else, you're a product of your environment, and that's going to shape the way that you consume media. In the globalized world that we live in right now, it's important to remember that and to have that at the forefront of our minds always. So, in order to be, I think, functional members of society today, we need to be able to properly analyze and criticize what we're consuming, what's being put out there, and to understand what it all means and how we're contributing to it as well. So, home economics, a class that I actually don't think I had. Something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy cooking. I'm no expert, but it's something that I do want to improve at. And I think that comes from just wanting to be sustainable and to eat good food whenever I feel like it. But also in my family, like that's what we're known for. I want to maintain that standard, and I want to really contribute to that reputation that we have. I grew up on home cooked meals because, again, my mom, she's a good cook. Listen, if you know, you know. Getting used to eating home cooked meals, I have a preference for them. So, of course, that ties into me wanting to be a better cook because that's the standard for me. That's always been the standard. I want to continue that, and I want to pass that down to my own children when I have them. Additionally, on her cooking specifically, there's some dishes that I want to know. They're not just the type of dishes that I can just look up online. Some of them can be, like chapati, samosas. There's a way that she makes it. And my mother's been cooking for most of her life. So whatever she knows is committed to memory. I'm not there yet. I want to host elaborate dinner parties at some point. When I get my first home, that's what I want to do. And I want people to show up on theme. And if not on theme, at least excited to eat my food because they know it's good. I want to just get better at food planning as well. I have my own nutritional goals that I want to meet. And I feel like being intentional with my food and the way that I approach cooking can really help with that. If I'm committed to learning how to be a better cook, I can eat better tasting and also just better quality food all the time. Now, under home economics, I also want to get more financially literate. I am not bad with money, actually. I feel like I've done a great job with what I've made thus far and what I'm able to do with what I'm making right now. I want to just be more educated in the economical sense and to obtain and to build wealth that's going to outlive me and also benefit those who come after. Living in a country like this one, again, we're definitely going through a lot right now, but it's not impossible, and I still want to learn how to take advantage of that. I want to learn more about whatever the hell the stock market is. I just be seeing them little letters and the numbers and the red arrows and the green arrows, and I'm just like, yep, I understand this. Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm tired of chasing the bag. Why can't the bag chase me? And lastly, I have listed interior design. And again, this ties into me managing my own space and finding out what my style is and what my aesthetic is. And I think I feel like I've done a pretty decent job. But I really want to be more secure in what my style is. I want to be like, no, this is me. Like, I really want people to walk into my home and be like, oh, this is Yoki's house for sure. No, because without a doubt, this is Yoki's home. Yeah. I'm really coming into my own, and whenever it comes time for me to design my house, I think I have a much better idea of what I like and what's important to me and what's visually appealing to me. And the pieces that I feel as though make a home, but also reflect me as a person. I've been getting better about knowing where to shop or knowing how to find a good deal or just being mindful with my purchases, but also not losing myself in the process, not buying things for the sake of buying things, but really being intentional about certain pieces and stuff like that. Basically, for instruction for this course, I'm pretty much just going to be taking inspiration from everything. So whether I'm in a museum, whether I'm at a restaurant, whether I'm in somebody else's home, whether I'm online, I'm just going to have a much more critical eye is that the word I want to use? Critical. I definitely want to be like, ooh, I want to like look at things and be like, oh, what made them think to put these two things together? For course materials, I have listed a credit card because that helps a lot. I listed a planner and a Pinterest account. So of course the plan is obvious. It's good to document your purchases and to plan things out. Like that's what I did with this apartment. I literally had a PDF version of my floor plan uploaded to my iPad, and I went to GoodNotes and I literally planned out everything. And a Pinterest account for inspiration, of course, on the go. Because sometimes you just be in places that don't spark any kind of interest. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just see what's popping on Pinterest. Let me look something up. Course goals for home economics will be to become a better cook, to make my money expand, and to have a better furnished home. For physical education, I want to curate a fitness routine that is centered around my fitness goals. Obviously. I kind of want to experience a body recomposition that's so crazy that people who have known me for maybe most of my life or have known me for a while will look at me and be like, damn. You know, I want to get stronger as well, but I feel like it's really fun to see how fitness can literally reshape your body. And I kind of want to see that. I've set the following standards for myself. So on a weekly basis, I want to have a minimum of 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous activity. Of course, I'm factoring the weeks when I'm on my period. So all I want to do is lay down and cry and eat sometimes at the same time. Another thing that I want to do is to learn best practices for weight training. I've been growing to like it a little bit more each day when I go. Like it's definitely challenging when I do it, because I was definitely not a trained athlete in my younger years. Like this is definitely a habit/hobby that I've acquired in my 20s, for sure. Upon learning the benefits that come with weight training, I want to learn how to do them well because one, I'm always told that I look young for my age, but I really do want to age gracefully moving forward. And I think, or rather, I know based off of multiple studies that weight training is definitely going to get me there. I've also listed implementing yoga and Pilates at least once a week, and each once a week. I want to do yoga and Pilates to increase my range of motion, and this would also assist with weight training. So they both help each other in a way, right? So the weight training will give me the strength to do more in yoga and Pilates, and then yoga and Pilates will give me more range of motion and even better muscle recovery when I do weight training. So I think having those two or doing them in tandem will only benefit me. So for instruction, thankfully, I go to a gym that offers classes, group classes. So of course I go to them for yoga, for the mat Pilates. I believe they're going to add reformer soon. And of course, I will be watching and reading content produced by fitness professionals because there's always something to learn, right? And also, I forgot to mention this, emotional regulation. That's another incentive for this because life can life. Life be lifing, as the youth say. Sometimes all you need to do is get up and walk or stretch or lift a weight or two or three. So for course materials, I have listed a gym membership. For myself, I have listed a yoga mat because I use both of those. I use those for both Pilates and for yoga. So it's definitely good to have that. I listed a nice water bottle because hydration is key. And I'm a firm believer in the water bottles and the shaker bottles that are lined with stainless steel. I use bottles from Simple Modern. I love the, what's it called? The Rally shaker bottle. And I also have the Mesa Loop water bottle. I use both. And lastly, I have listed some good training or running shoes. I do have both. I forget the name of my Adidas training shoes, but what I like for them is like the days that I'm doing weights, I like to wear them because they're flat. And then for cardio, I don't run. And then I like to wear my running shoes on the days that I plan on using the treadmill. So for course goals, as I mentioned earlier, I want an insane body recomp. Crazy. And I just want my physique to reflect my discipline and my dedication to being hot and sexy. I have that written down in my notes. Alexa, play Hot and Sexy by Zara Larsson. Also, and you know, I guess this is technically the most important. I do want quality sleep and emotional stability. So on top of being snatched, on top of being, I want to be strong, honey. I want to be busting out my jeans. Like, I'm having too much fun with this. Okay. And that is everything. That is all I have for you guys today. When it comes to my personal curriculum, I feel as though this is a pretty comprehensive one. I feel like I'm doing pretty good thus far. And truly, again, like I mentioned earlier, the inspiration for this is just taking things that I'm already into and I'm technically already doing and just giving myself a more structured plan so I can track my progress, I can hold myself accountable, and just maintain a level of quality and keep it consistent throughout all aspects of my life. Let me know in the comments if this is something that interests you, if this is something that you've personally done and what it's done for you. How has it changed your life? How has it changed your perspective on life? How has it changed the way you do things? Thank you guys again for coming back. I know it's been a minute and I feel like I got monetized and just lost all the momentum and steam that I had for this, but I'm back, I promise. I think I'm going to switch things up a little bit and I'm hoping that you stick along for the ride. All I can say is thank you and that I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.